the tech industry has found a surprising new ally in its effort to shape public policy in Washington. The 82-year-old libertarian billionaire Charles Koch. Two organizations founded by Koch, one an education-focused institute and the other a grant-making foundation, have spent the past year ramping up their efforts to shape public debate on tech policy topics like self-driving cars and the rights of online publishers. Despite their ideological distance on issues like the Paris Climate Accord, the Koch groups in left-leaning Silicon Valley are working together to advance the argument that innovation is most likely to flourish when legislators and regulators leave it alone. We tend to think that there's a role for government, but it's limited, Jesse Blumenthal, who leads the Charles Koch Institute's tech policy portfolio, said in an interview at the organization's headquarters in Arlington, Virginia. He called technology a prime example of how people can see their quality of life improved, and their existence is less constrained, when the free market is allowed to work. The deep-pocketed Koch groups have the resources to help tech put on educational events, co-host conferences and fund academic research. But the alliance with Charles Koch also allows Silicon Valley to expand its contacts and influence in the age of Donald Trump, in a Washington that looks much different from what the tech executives who supported Hillary Clinton had expected after the 2016 election. For an industry in need of new friends in D.C., amid threats of antitrust scrutiny and criticism of its role in enabling Russian election interference, the Koch's deep ties to conservative circles may prove useful. Evan Engstrom, executive director of a San Francisco-based startup advocacy group Engine, said he had reaction when a mutual friend introduced him to Blumenthal. But Engstrom's group later partnered with the Charles Koch Institute on a June training session for congressional staffers on encryption. There are not a lot of philanthropic foundations working in the tech policy space, particularly on forward-thinking tech issues, Engstrom said. I suspect we'll continue working together quite a bit. Others in tech, though, object to the new alliance. At some point the tech community needs to realize that our work has a moral dimension, said Catherine Bracey, executive director of Tech Equity Collaborative, a group advocating for fairness in the Bay Area economy. Taking money from people who are dedicating their lives to undermining American democratic values, like openness and inclusion, goes against everything the internet is supposed to stand for. The Koch groups respond understanding how people can be free to lead their best lives is foundational to what we do. The Koch brothers, Charles and 77-year-old David, have emerged in recent years as major funders on the right side of the political aisle, with an infrastructure that at its peak in 2015 rivaled that of the Republican National Committee. Charles is no fan of Trump, saying a vote for Trump or Clinton was like choosing between cancer or a heart attack, but the brothers have found common cause with Trump on one major issue of late. Koch-backed Americans for Prosperity has thrown its weight behind the tax code overhaul. Silicon Valley, despite sharing some of the same libertarian impulses as the Kochs, votes overwhelmingly Democratic. The Koch groups, though, are finding their entry into the Washington tech arena largely welcomed by the industry's network of trade groups and policy organizations. The Charles Koch Foundation, which says it's on track to give out $120 million in total grants this year, declines to break out its work in technology. But the group's new presence in Washington tech policy circles is becoming more visible. In September, the Koch Institute co-hosted a high-profile, day-long symposium with both the Newseum Institute and the Center for Democracy and Technology, a digital civil liberties group, and Washington mainstay, focused on creating a digital future where speech and democracy flourish. It's also helping to support the Technology Policy Institute, a DC-based think tank that drew a bipartisan crowd to a summit in Aspen, Colorado, this August and is in the early stages of funding academic research on the emerging field of artificial intelligence. Separately, Politico is a media partner with the Brookings Institution and the Charles Koch Institute in a series of debates about the United States' changing role in the world, including one Monday in Las Vegas. A June event with Engine, co-hosted by the libertarian group Tech Freedom, featured Ed Felton, an Obama White House Deputy Chief Technology Officer who since returned to his professorship at Princeton University. Felton, over a lunch with fried chicken sandwiches, used a whiteboard to explain the nuts and bolts of encryption to a room packed with Capitol Hill staffers. For the Charles K.